About 6 months ago, I made this whole miter saw, radial arm saw station situation, and in the process of making these two cabinets, I knocked down the one and only shelving unit in my entire wood shop. And on top of that, I never finished off these cabinets with drawers. So for the past 6 months, everything from my wood shop has been sitting in a pile on a table in the other room, which is less than ideal. But that ends now, because today I'm going to finish off both of these cabinets by filling them full of drawers. 28 drawers, in fact, and for each one of those drawers, I'm going to be making homemade full extension drawer slides out of wood. Join me! This video is sponsored by Policy Genius. The first thing I'm going to do is cut out all the mini parts for the mini drawer boxes, and I'm going to start off this project the way I start off any large plywood-based project, by having a breakdown of the plywood. Yeah, that's what I meant. The plywood I'm using for this entire project is 1/2-inch pine veneer core birch veneer plywood. That's it. I'm done. I just cut out 140 drawer box parts. And now I'm going to bed. I'll see you in the morning. To assemble these drawer boxes, I'm going to be using the quarter or half drawer box construction method. Partly because it's strong, it's tongue and groove joinery, but mostly because it's very fast. I only need one table saw set up for all of the cuts, which is helpful because I have to slap together 28 drawer boxes. If you want to know more about the quarter or half drawer box construction method, Stumpy Nubs made an excellent video on the topic, and I'll link to it here. It's a box. It took all the way until midnight 30, but all the drawer boxes are assembled and glued up. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some going to bed that needs doing, like immediately. As I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to be mounting all of these drawers using homemade full extension drawer slides made out of wood. The design for these was come up with by John Heiss. I'll link to his video explaining the process in the card up in the corner. Now, a question you may or may not be asking yourself is, why? Why would I go through all the trouble and expense of making a bunch of drawer slides when I could just go buy perfectly good ball bearing full extension drawer slides like these from the store? Well, there's two reasons. One, I figured making them would be more interesting for video, and two, cost. If I were to buy a pair of these for every drawer in these cabinets, it would cost almost $400. By comparison, all the poplar I had to buy to make all of these drawer slides only cost me a relatively cheap $160. With all the 224 runners cut out, it's time to cut out the middle part of the slide. Unfortunately, I ran out of poplar for these, so some of the slides will be made of oak because that's what I had on hand. You know, two of my biggest hobbies are driving slow, badly made death traps and woodworking is not much more than using various forms of spinning knives. What would happen if I were to get in an accident in one of these cars one day, or the radial arm saw disemboweled me, or worse yet, I died some inconsequential death by gas station sushi poisoning or something? I wouldn't have anything to leave my family. All they'd get is this collection of weird cars, a half-completed bus, some power tools, and they'd have no place to keep it because the bank would definitely take back this property. I should get life insurance. You can save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. Who are you? Thanks to Policy Genius for sponsoring this video. That didn't answer my question at all. Policy Genius is an insurance marketplace. You can compare quotes from top companies in minutes, all in one place. Policy Genius handles the paperwork and the negotiating with the insurance companies for you, and there's no added fees. You can save $1,300 or more per year by using Policy Genius to compare life insurance policies. Visit policygenius.com/underdone to shop the marketplace and start saving today. Hey, it's my ad. Well, I don't know who you are, and it's my shop, so get out. We're the same person. What? Whatever. Weirdo. I need to trim down all of these strips I just cut out to just under a ½ inch thick. But before I send all these through the planer, I'm going to make my life a little bit easier and trim away most of the excess thickness at the bandsaw. Then I can plane down all of the strips to a uniform thickness of just under ½ inch, which is just a little bit less than the thickness of two of the runners put together. Again, if you want to know more info about these drawer slides, go check out John Heiss's video on the topic. All of the middle strips need a series of slots cut in them for the retention screws, so I did that over at the router table. Well, it took nearly the entire day, but here they are, all 28 million drawer slides. Some of them are oak, because I ran out of poplar. Now all I have to do is install all of them and all the drawers, which is a project I'm very excited about. What was that? Hang on, I'll be right back. Sorry about that interruption. Nothing happened, so I thought I should go check it out. And I see they didn't install themselves while I was gone. Very disappointing. Before I can install all the drawer slides, I need to add false walls to bring out the inside wall on the end of these cabinets here because of this corner piece. The inside wall is inset a bit. I need to bring it out to be flush with the edge of this corner piece. This angle is not particularly worth viewing, so let's skip to the next scene. Okay, I've installed all of the runners into the cabinet side using screws. I've installed all the runners onto the drawer boxes using glue and pin nails. I've installed all the center bits of the drawer slides into the cabinets. And I've given everything, all of the rubby bits, a nice thin coat of paste wax, which I melted down in a toaster oven and then applied with a brush to make things go a little bit more quickly. Now it's time to drop my drawers into the cabinets. I'm going to put the drawers in the cabinets. And installing the drawers is just a matter of using my drilling / spacing template here. Center punch the place where the retention screw is going to go. Hello, Micah. And then add the retention screws. Now I just need to do that for the rest of the drawers. The tolerances on my drawer box construction, especially the first ones that I started out with, aren't that great. And some of them are just a little bit too tight, or like this one, just a little bit too wide and won't fit in there at all. So for drawer boxes like this one, I'm taking over to the jointer and giving them a light pass on the runners just to thin them up a little bit so they'll fit in the slot. And in case you're wondering, yes, I am planing straight through the pin nails in the runners. The carbide inserts and my new cutter head eats them for breakfast. And now, after that finessing, it fits freely. All the drawers are in. Couple of things. First of all, it took a fair bit longer to make and install all these drawer slides than I thought. I expected it to take about a day. Well, it didn't quite take a full day. It took 3. Also, the initial fitment of all these drawers wasn't exactly what I had hoped for. I'm not sure what went wrong, but what I expected to happen was most of the drawers would fit in first time around, and some of them would be too tight and need finessing on the jointer. What actually happened was every drawer needed finessing on the jointer. All of the drawers were either too tight or too wide to fit in at all. I had to take every single one of these drawers and pass it over the jointer a couple of times for it to fit. Now, I'm happy that it was that easy to adjust the fitment of them, and then I got the width off just that little bit, and I didn't have to make any major changes, but it's still a little bit annoying that I had to do that with every drawer. That all being said, I'm very satisfied with how this has turned out now that I've done all the fitment and the finessing and everything. And obviously these are not going to be as smooth as ball bearing drawer glides, but I have the extra satisfaction of knowing that I made these all myself. I'm pretty happy with it. Except for this one. This one's a little bit sticky. The next and final step to this project is drawer fronts and other trimmings. As you can see, I'm already painting the reveals black over there in preparation. The drawer fronts are going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to have a 1/2 inch gap between all the drawer fronts except around the edges, where there'll be roughly an 1/8 inch gap, just enough to clearance. We'll see how it looks. After I got all the drawer fronts cut out, I gave them a 1/4 inch round over at the router table. I gave all the drawer fronts a coat of paint in the other room, and while that dries, I'm going to make a bunch of drawer handles out of these 2 big chunks of poplar. All the drawer fronts and drawer pulls are painted. Now it's time to install the drawer fronts, which starts with pre-drilling some holes from behind, putting on some glue, align the drawer front using a couple of spacers that I cut out. These are slightly less than 1/8 inch. I don't know how thick they actually are. Screw the drawer front onto the drawer box through the pre-drilled holes. Attach the front from behind. Remove the 2 screws in front, drill them out all the way through, and then attach the drawer pulls. Now I just need to do that 27 more times. My stool just broke. Oh, they're all falling out. Literally all of them. Well, I'm gonna throw this away. I stole this stool from a doctor's office. It shouldn't fall apart on me. Eh. It's a fluid. It's done! And no, I didn't know what to do with that space underneath the radial arm saw. So for now, it's just a hole with a bucket in it. Maybe I'll put some sort of design to cover it up or fill it up with something else. That's what it looks like for now. Couple things I want you to know. Before this cabinet, I've never made a single cabinet before, unless you count the base of my table saw. This is the first cabinet I've ever made. Also before this project, never made a single drawer box before, never made a single drawer slide before. Talk about trial by fire. Now this being my first cabinet, there are some oddities with it because I designed it on the fly and I wanted to see how the end result of my design on the fly engineering compared with real cabinets and learn from those differences. One example of that is the face frames. There aren't any. Between the drawer fronts, up and down, it's just a void. Now from a distance you can't tell that because the reveals that are there are black, so the void sort of blends in with that, but no face frames. If I were to make another cabinet, I'd definitely include face frames in it, and I would do that from the beginning. Also, it's a little bit rough around the edges, but it is a painted project, and I used a cheapish grade of plywood, so that is to be expected. But for shop furniture and for the first cabinet I've ever made, I am extremely happy with this. And I now have a place to put all the crap in my wood shop, so that's a nice bonus. And these homemade drawer slides turned out rather well. When I was installing them and I had to trim them all to fit, I wasn't super happy, but now that they're all trimmed to fit and in the cabinet, thrilled with them. And I didn't have to spend $400 on proper drawer slides. And that's it. Well, this isn't the biggest project I've ever done. It's certainly the most repetitious. It was really draining on my energy and took several more days than I expected. Anyway, I'm happy with the end result. I hope you liked it too, and I hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.